Oh. There's more. Wait, bug. There's a bug. Oh, wait a minute. Holy shit. There's a small enemy spider. Game over, yeah!
Arachnophobia is one of the weirdest fears represented in games. Not that I don't understand how people with fear of spiders feel because, well, spiders are creepy fuckers after all, but recently games like Grounded have started adding an arachnophobia mode to completely transform the enemy spiders into something else that's hopefully less scary and allows more people to play the game. However, spiders aren't the only fear mankind has, so I wonder if in the future games will also add modes for herpetophobic people as well. Yeah, I think I pronounced that right. Because after all, we have as many giant lizards running around as giant spiders in video games. In the meantime though, at least we can finally accomplish our shared dream of setting creepy crawlies on fire thanks to Kill It With Fire, courtesy of Casey Donnellan Games and tinyBuild, who, in the interest of transparency, I will also add that they kindly provided me with a free key for the game so I could do this review. So, thanks guys! Kill It With Fire is one of those games that just delivers one of mankind's greatest desires in digital form. The ability to kill spiders with disproportionate firepower that we wanted to do for so long. And considering we've been using the expression Kill It With Fire for decades on the internet, this game firmly falls into the why hasn't this been done yet list of games. But well, thankfully, at least it has been done now. And from here onwards, we all have a game to rely on to live out this ridiculous fantasy. So how does Kill It With Fire plays out? Well, it's actually quite simple. The game is divided into levels that chronologically tells the story of a person that I'm assuming is an exterminator who finds spiders in a house and reasonably goes absolutely fucking ballistic about it. You play it in first person and you hunt down spiders, with each level introducing more ridiculous ways to kill them and new spider types that behave differently. You get to hunt down spiders with a clipboard, hairspray, revolvers, shotguns, and C4 as well, because of course that's completely reasonable. Those are only some of the dozens of weapons available at your disposal, of course. And this is where I just stop before I go any further talking about the game, just to dispel any disinformation that you might have thought up by seeing the game around the internet. Because you see, while it has been labeled as a spider hunting simulator in some of its marketing, it probably isn't what most people are expecting. The word simulator in video games can carry a lot of weight. One has to wonder if we are talking about a somewhat realistic depiction of a real-life subject, or just some low-budget sandbox, in quotation marks, trash that gets thrown into Steam for $5 in the hopes of fooling someone into buying them. Kill It With Fire, however, is neither one nor the other. It is very much a gamey game. It has gamey levels, it has gamey mechanics, and gamey objectives. If I were to compare it to another game I've played recently, I would very much compare it to Katamari Damacy. Just like Katamari, the game is divided into small levels that get increasingly more complex, and just like Katamari, the world is deliberately low poly and colorful, making it very easy to understand what things are supposed to be at a first glance, and of course where to look for spiders, while keeping the developer's budget under control. There's also a focus on dealing with increasingly complicated obstacles and on increasing quantity, with one telling you to roll increasingly bigger katamaris, while the other is telling you to kill an increasingly higher quantity of spiders. There's even the sense of unlocking locations, since rolling your katamari to a bigger size allows you to go over gates and other obstacles to new locations, while killing spiders and completing objectives allow access to new rooms, as well as lockers and cabinets that are hiding tools and upgrades. They really do share more similarities than I thought when I started writing this sentence, but no, that was totally planned. Anyway, that's where the similarities end though, because while Katamari had a revolutionary new mechanic and never before seen control scheme, at least it was never before seen before someone pops up in the comment section and corrects me, but anyway, while it was a very unique game, Kill It With Fire instead recontextualized FPS mechanics that already exists into tools for spider killing. And while Katamari had a constant timer reminding you of how much time left you had before the end of the level, Kill It With Fire allows you to take it slow, slowly unlocking more and more of the level, rewarding you for being meticulous by hiding secrets that could help you at every corner. Provided you have the patience to look for them, of course. In that sense, it is a much more casual, slow experience with no real failure state, which is a bit frustrating for me as a categorizer, since that means it narrowly avoids being able to be categorized as an arcade type experience, and instead it jumps into kind of a little corner of its own. Though perhaps that is for the best, since considering the subject matter of the game, it would be very frustrating to hunt down those sneaky bastards if there was a timer on our heads the whole time. That's not to say there isn't a timer at all in the game, or there are absolutely no failure states in it, because there is one big glaring exception. You see, hidden in every level is a boombox, and when you complete all of the level's objectives, you can use it to trigger an Arachno Gauntlet. That's the name of the thing, which is an optional hardcore challenge that must be accomplished within a certain time frame, and they are really hard. For reference, the first one of them asks you to kill 5 spiders with the revolver without reloading, and the revolver only has 6 shots. It is absurdly hard, though I did manage to complete all of them by abusing the overpowered energy drink, which slows down time, timer included, making every single one of them much more manageable. And yes, you heard that sentence correctly. You can slow down time to kill spiders faster by drinking an energy drink. And also some spiders explode, it's just the kind of game it is. We gotta roll with that. And did I mention the Arachno Gauntlet theme is an absurdly high energy hard rock remix of the game's main theme? Well, I'm mentioning it now, and it is honestly pretty damn good, and I listen to it all the time even outside the game. The game itself has excellent music and sound design, though unlike the Arachno Gauntlet theme, the rest of the game hits some pretty jazzy notes. Of particular notice are the absurdly creepy sounds the spiders make when they are close to you somewhere, that freaking sound, as well as the violin jump scares that play whenever you find a spider, followed by a frantic theme that either ends on a positive or a negative note before fading back into silence, depending on if you manage to kill the spider or not. And that's excellent. It's just such an organic way of integrating your score with the gameplay. You know, it's some absolutely master tier sound design that ingrains itself into the gameplay in ways you just don't hear very often, even in AAA titles. So yeah, I gotta say, this game has some excellent music, and it also has some excellent game design. Props to the devs. Okay, I've been hyping this game up way too much, so you know what time it is. It's time to talk about the negatives. And honestly, I can't think of anything that is like a deal breaker or anything big, you know, it's mostly minor stuff. But if I had to point one negative point, one that is I actually think that a lot of people will agree with and a lot of people will feel, is that the game is simply too short. And it is an arcade game. I mean, it's not really an arcade game, but it's a game that's meant to be replayed like an arcade game. And you know, that's not bad at all to be short. And like I said, there are plenty of games that are simply way too long or put annoying things to pad it out the middle of the game. And without that here, it is immensely replayable. But the problem is that there are all these new tools and ability that you can go back and play around with. But what really doesn't help the game's case is that every level is really small, and I really wish beating the game would unlock a bigger sandbox style level for you to play around in, maybe glue some levels together or something like that, but unfortunately you only get the normal campaign levels to play around with. And it's a shame really, because they are cool and varied, but they are not too many and they are not all that big, so it's just a shame, because lack of playgrounds is really the only major fault I left the game with. You get boatloads of weapons, you get boatloads of abilities and different modes, and all kinds of perks and tools and enemy types and stuff, and yes, there are a lot of spider enemy types as well. There is a very good variety. So really, the only thing the game really lacks, in my opinion, are levels. It's like level-based content, level design. I wish for bigger levels and I hope that it had at least a sandbox to play around with, but it doesn't have that, unfortunately. So yeah, if one thing that you can say that is bad about the game is that you wish you had more of it, that's a good thing, but it's not really more of the game, it's more level. It's a very specific thing that I wish there had more of. But there are some hints that there might be more content coming soon. So you never know, maybe they're going to add. Honestly, developers, if you're listening to this, I would freaking pay for it. I would totally pay for a DLC that is just one big sandbox level for me to hunt spiders in. I would pay for that. Okay, alright, now that we've come clean, it's time for us to reach our conclusion. So yeah, overall I was pretty satisfied with Kill It With Fire, and it is a pretty cheap game, well worth the pride of admission if you're looking for some casual bug hunting fun. And if you are, then I can definitely recommend this. I definitely have a soft spot for this kind of indie flair that is casual but still engaging in a gamey manner. Most of the time the casual first-person games are just walking simulators, and that's not really a bad thing. There are some walking simulators out there with some really good stories, but you know, I do lean myself more to the gamey kind of gaming, you know what I mean? And this one is just a grand old time for me. Well, this is Penguin Overdrive telling you once again to please make some smoke signals in the comment section to please the algorithm overlords so that this video will be seen by all. And I'll see you guys next time.